We walk with God in faithfulness in our marriage. Now, if you keep on reading, it's where you get the verses of scripture where God says, I hate divorce. That's what he says. And so he's saying in this context, you guys are leaving these godly women, you're running after these women. You need to be faithful. You need to hang on in your marriage. Now, marriage can be difficult. Martin Luther said it like this: a man can become more like Christ in a marriage than he can in a monastery. It's hard. It's hard for the ladies. It's hard for the men. You take a lady and a man, that's already different enough. You take two wills and you put them together and you say, okay, get along for 60 years, right? It's tough. We've been married 27 years. Kelly and I have a great marriage. We love each other well. It's better than it's ever been. We love it. It's great. She's amazing, amazing, godly woman. But every once in a while you get little tiffs, little problems. So we had a little moment where we just said, we just need to sit down on the couch and just talk for a second. We're not yellers and screamers, but you know how that moment is. You sit down on the couch, you start having that conversation, you have that talk. I could tell in the conversation I was beginning to lose. That's what I began to tell. And so realizing that I was beginning to lose, I had to find out something that would make me get back on maybe I could win this thing. Now, your godly, wonderful pastor should have just said, you're right, I'm sorry, and kiss and make up and go on with the day. That's how you solve it right there. You got to have a marriage of two forgivers. That's how you end up with a good marriage. But I was sitting there and I didn't want to do that. And so I was thinking, well, I don't want to do this. I don't want to lose this moment. So I thought I'm going to grab something, because when you're beginning to lose, you grab a phrase from somewhere out there in the ether and you say, well, you never, and you always, and your mom and your dad and you're this, you start pulling in all, you're like your grandmother's cousins, aunts, uncles, so you got all these things, you're just grabbing for stuff because you realize you're losing the actual thing that's happening here. So now you're just grabbing anything. So I just went and I grabbed something and I pulled it back and I said, I just feel like you don't listen to me. Yeah, it didn't go well. You're right. But I thought, if I can get that in there, we can get off the subject and we can get on to, right? And so stick my lower lip out and pout. And so here we go. So I said, well, I just feel like you don't listen to me. And Kelly goes, I don't listen to you? My whole life is listening to you. My Sundays for the last 20 years have all been listening to you. Before that, I listened to you. We would travel around the country, and what do? I sit there and I listen to you. People quote you to me in the grocery store. All I do is listen to you. And I was like, you're right, I'm sorry. And everything was fine. Marriage can be difficult. And when you start pulling out questions like these Malachi people are calling out questions, and well, you don't listen to me. Well, I don't think you listen. Well, how did we do this? How do we despise you? We've got to be able to say, Lord, I'm sorry. And let's get this thing right instead of going back and forth one-on-one like this. Hey, thanks for watching. To find out more about Houston's First, you can subscribe to our channel or you can go to houstonsfirst.org.